I went indoors, had a quick wash, and carefully reapplied a red botu in the center of my forehead, looking into the tiny mirror to make sure I drew the dot in the correct spot. Then I pulled out a maroon sari, buttoned my puff-sleeved blouse, slipped on my petticoat, and called our maid, Boni, to help me arrange the sari's pleats. "You look nice," Pony said approvingly. I pursed my lips as I made my way into the sitting room, taking the mincing steps that my sari permitted. Half saris didn't hamper me as much, but in a few years' time, I'd be too old to wrap myself in anything but a full 6 yards of cloth. I needed to practice. Gitta saw me almost trip over the sari's flowing folds, and he choked over the cup of chai he was sipping. I stuck my tongue out at him. Amma didn't notice, and she smiled approvingly at my effort, though still tight-lipped. I smiled back at her, wondering why she wasn't as radiant as usual. Was she worried about Periappa's visit too? When he visited, it was a lot harder on her than on the rest of us. She had to wait on Periappa hand and foot. Appa was breathing in the chai's mingled scent of freshly crushed cardamom and strong black tea. I pulled up a wicker chair and sat down next to him. "Appa, where were you? Why aren't you at the clinic every day?" I asked. Amma shook her head as though to tell Appa to stay silent. "Tell me," I wheedled. "Please. I'm old enough to know. Does Gitta know?" Appa looked worn out. He took a sip of the sweet, milky tea from his steaming cup. "I'm doing some new things. Volunteer work." "Volunteer work?" I asked. "Why?" "I suppose you could say it makes me feel fulfilled," he said. "Don't we keep you feeling fulfilled?" I asked, hoping to coax him into saying more. He smiled but didn't answer. "So, what did you do in school today, Vidya?" I didn't want to change the topic, but I couldn't help chattering about school and volleyball and my best friend, Rivka. Rivka was Jewish, but other than that, she was like my twin sister. We were the same height, our hair was the same shade of black, we played the same sports, we laughed at the same things, and we even got our first period the same day, nearly a year ago. Gitta teased her as much as he teased me when she came over, and I bossed over her little brother just as much as she did. By the time I got through telling Appa about my day, it was prayer time, and Pony was clearing away the remains of our tea. We gathered around the household altar in the puja room, and Amma's voice rose in a Sanskrit chant. She poured oil into the old brass lamp and lit the wick. When the small flame began to dance, she placed a camphor cube on her handheld lamp and lit it with the flame. Pungent smoke curled into the air from the burning camphor and twirled together with the brown tendrils that were rising from the glowing incense sticks. I looked at the brightly colored picture of the blue god Krishna, the bronze images of Nataraja, Lord of Dance, and the sandalwood figurines of Lakshmi, the goddess of wealth, and Saraswati, the goddess of learning. Amma offered the blessed food, the small plate with fruit, milk, curds, and sweets, to each of us, beginning with me. The ritual was comforting, and by the time it was over, the spicy fragrance of the special Krishna Jayanti feast wafted in from the kitchen and drove the worries about Appa out of my mind. We didn't talk much at dinner, enjoying the wonderful meal in silence. "You make the best dishes in the whole world," I told Amma after I finished. "The cook did most of it," she said. "I just sprinkled the spices on at the very end." But I could tell she was pleased. Unlike me, she enjoyed being the chef.